Hola, witches.
Hello, hello.
So, we're going to have fun tonight. Tonight, we are going to talk about a day in the life of the High Priestess.
Ross.
She's super fun.
She is.
Super, super exciting. Okay. So, we will talk about the High Priestess. And if y'all have any questions, utilize the Q&A. We will do our best to answer any of your questions about the High Priestess. If you are watching a recording, comment on the YouTube video and any questions you have in regards to the High Priestess, we shall answer. All right, y'all? Exactly. Okay. Oh, apparently I didn't enable the Q&A, so ask on the YouTube link. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. All right, then. Okay, so day in the life of the High Priestess. Let's start this. As the High Priestess, you wake up in the morning. What's your initial response to the world when you are the High Priestess? What does she have to say?
Oh, well, the High Priestess, let's see. The High Priestess I've always thought of as a pretty rowdy bitch. Like, she's got some power, and very elegant, but she also, and regal, but she knows she's in control of this shit,
Mm-hmm.
So I would think that she would be very confident, I'm up, bitches, let's get started. You no longer have to wait because I am now awake, But she has this commanding presence, and a lot of times, especially when working with this card in trance, she comes across as very, you can't mess around with her. So in the morning she's very confident, this is what I want my breakfast now, I want exactly like this is how things are going to go. She's still very grateful, I don't feel like she is one of those people who would be cruel. You know what I mean? Like a high maintenance, yet very bratty and cruel. I don't feel like that. I feel like, yes, she would be very high maintenance, but in a very spiritual way more than a very materialistic way. She wants her breakfast exactly like it is because this is what she feels like will not just nourish her physically, but will nourish her spiritually. She is the High Priestess, so she has not just a lot of responsibility, but she has to lead by example. So, I'm only going to take in what I feel like will nourish my body. I'm only going to, proceed with my day and be very conscious of what is going to nourish me spiritually, and also so I can be a very good example for my followers, for my coven, for my acolytes as I go through the day, because they look to me for answers. They look to me to see how things are done. So she's very conscious of that as she gets ready in the morning. She would be one of those people who has a very strict spiritual regiment that she does every day. So I think she would start out with something very spiritual. I'm going to meditate, or I'm going to divine, or I'm going to commune with deity. I'm going to do something important at the very beginning of my day that connects me spiritually to everything.
I agree. I like that. You're right, though. Like the High Priestess, she's not... Well, she's used to... because when you enter the mode of the High Priestess, the essence of the High Priestess, she's kind of a bitch.
She is.
But not... It's, it's not a bitch in the sense of a harmful, a negative way, or like a cunt. She's not cunty. She's just bitchy. And it's more of like this... she has created this experience for herself. She has created this energy for herself. And so she has to be very direct. She's very commanding, and she has to really express herself in a very distinct way, because what she says goes, in a sense, and she needs to make sure that her words are in alignment with what she seeks to create. And so as a high priestess in the morning, when she wakes up, she's just like, she's in perfect alignment with what needs to happen for the day that follows. And so she will wake up and she will have her mind already working on her behalf. Because when you wake up, usually what we think is like, fuck, I need some coffee, or fuck, I'm so tired, fuck, I don't want to go to work, fuck. And so she understands the power of that initial energy upon waking. And so instead of the high priestess saying, fuck this shit, she wakes up and her mind is automatically programmed to work for her. So she's like, okay, today is going to be great. Today I have this to do. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get this done. This is being done. This is how that's going to go. But before I start my day, I'm going to read scripture. I got my Bible here, or I have my Book of Shadows here. I'm going to read something of inspiration. I'm going to read something that is going to really motivate me spiritually, to really strengthen that for me, so that I can carry on. I need that fuel. I need that organization. So I'm going to get something from a book, A Course in Miracles. I'm going to take that. I'm going to open it. I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to spend some time contemplating. I'm going to take some time to really get into, that energy, to really get into that experience where I'm going to learn something new. I'm going to contemplate. I'm going to live in that before I get out of bed. I'm going to take that time to really, immerse myself in this initial experience upon waking, where I have time to really take that dream essence, that unconscious experience into the waking moment. So I'm going to take that very unique energy and push it into the physical, push it into my current moment, and allow myself to really take in, the verse that I'm reading, the passages that I'm reading, the artwork that I'm staring at. I'm going to feed my spirit before I get out and venture into the world. So she's very regal. She's very royal in her actions, because she is the high priestess. She's very organized. She has, as the high priestess, you have training. You balance those energies. You are the medium. You are of service. You have that command, of the world within and the world outside of you. And so that's something to pay attention to upon waking. It's like, okay, if you really have a lot of shit to do that day, before you go to sleep, the night before, have the high priestess with you. Have her, and upon waking, look at her, take her energy in, and become her. And so take inspiration from her. Have a Bible, have a Book of Shadows, have A Course in Miracles, have a book that you're going to look at, and you're going to be able to feed your spirit to help you with the day that you're going to have. So, all right. Okay, we woke up, we're preparing for our day. Let's talk about food. Let's talk about, like, maybe, breakfast, we kind of, sort of, but let's talk about foods. The type of foods maybe that she likes to consume, and what she does right before she leaves the house to do work.
Right. Well, the high priestess, again, it's like you said, she has training. She is there is no separation of her spiritual self from her mundane self. She lives, breathes, and walks in this serene spirituality. She has to set an example. She has trainees. Any high priestess, whether you're talking about a high priestess from the old days, or if you're talking about a high priestess in a coven in modern times, has this, desire to, and responsibility to teach those in her coven church, whatever. So I would think that as far as food goes, that would be something that is very important in many ways, because food is very spiritual. There is a big connection between what we eat and how we share meals, that isn't just a physical thing. It is a very spiritual thing. That's why so many people spend so much time on food, on the preparation of food. And she would be one of those people, I would think, that would be very conscientious about how the food is prepared. What the food is, being thankful for the food that she consumes, being grateful for the food, blessing the food. I mean, it would be a process, much like any spiritual leader. Food takes on, specific meanings. So I think that she would be very conscientious about what she ate. She would be be the one preparing the food. As much as she is regal, and that might seem to be below her station, it is very important to have that physical contact, with the food that she's going to consume, because that gives her that spiritual connection. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when she's washing, the vegetables that are about to be prepared, she is connecting with her energy, and she's cleansing them, and it's a very spiritual thing. As much as it may not take like 2 hours to do, it could be something very quick and to go on with the rest of her day. But there's still that thought, that conscientious movement that she puts into everything she does. So she is connected to what she is doing, in not just a physical way, but a very spiritual way. So to me, that would be a lot of her process, connecting with that energy, connecting with the food, blessing the food that she gives to others, because she knows that is an important part of being in the present, in the moment, connected to what's around her and her environment.
Right. I do like that, and I agree. Like, as the High Priestess prepares for her day and she gets her meals done and all that, it's a very ritualistic experience, because again, she's very organized, and she has the training to understand what feeds the soul, what feeds the body, and hers, her body, her spirit, and so she takes that time to really get to know what she wants and what she needs for that day. And so I really feel like the High Priestess, like, you can associate carb cycling with the High Priestess, because you have your low carb days, and then you have your high carb days, and then you have, depending on how extreme you go, you have a cheat day. You have a cheat day if you follow very strict, and that's kind of what I feel like she would do. Is she'd have her low carb days, and then she'd have her high carb days, and then she'd have one cheat day where she could just like embrace the luxury of so many different foods, and she doesn't restrict herself. She understands that she can have what she wants, as long as it aligns with the spirit, as long as it's what she needs at that time. She listens to her body. She listens to what needs to be done at that point. So she will choose healthier options for her, or for you, as the high priestess. But she will choose the better source of food to consume, to fuel for the experience ahead. So that's something to take into consideration. But she also enjoys, a glass of red wine. She enjoys, her chocolate. She enjoys the luxuries of life, but from a very, educated standpoint.
Right. A very spiritual standpoint, too, because the two are usually very closely connected.
Right.
knows that this red wine is very luxurious and it's something that she enjoys, but she also knows that it benefits not just her body but her spirit while she is, consuming it. So, and that dark chocolate paired with that wonderful red wine doesn't not only does it taste amazing and enhance these flavors, but it also is good for her body.
Right, and I understand we're talking about morning and breakfast, but that's kind of the thing of the High Priestess. Like, what she says goes, and so there will be times where the High Priestess will start her day with a glass of wine and chocolate, because she understands that, at that time, in that moment, that's kind of what is necessary. Those things will trigger certain experiences. They will help her to trance, whatever, but she will have that knowing that there's a spiritual and physical and educational connection to what she's consuming, what she's putting into her body, and what she is offering to the world on a very spiritual level. So that's something to really take into consideration and to follow through with as the High Priestess, because she listens and because she's very psychic. She is very commanding, so she listens to what is necessary. And she knows that there's more to be had later on. So she'll do what she needs to do, and she's out the door.
Yes, definitely. She's a busy lady. She has a lot on her plate. Even if it was just a day for herself, she would still be a very busy person because, as we know, as y'all know, we've talked about this before, you need a daily regimen to keep yourself connected spiritually. And the High Priestess definitely understands and even appreciates that. So her day is going to be filled with keeping herself aligned spiritually while she goes throughout her day doing what she does, and some of that could be education, because keeping your spiritual self in good, shape, in good form, is keeping in a lot, keeping yourself knowledgeable, keeping yourself educated, because there are new things in the world every day.
Right.
So, and it would take more than a lifetime to learn everything that you would need to know on any kind of spiritual journey. So she knows that that's something that she needs to keep up with. Right. So there would definitely be a learning period, a period of study, of immersing herself into her religion, or her spirituality, whatever that may be. And there would be a period of communion with other like-minded people, not necessarily like Jehovah's Witness communion. Where like she's going to knock on doors. It's not like that.
Hello, people. Hello.
Yeah, love to tell you, have you met our Savior, ISIS or whatever, or the Morgan or whoever. No, it's not going to be like that. She is going to, talk to the people in her coven, talk to like-minded people, talk to people who aren't of her same mind spiritually, because there's so much to be learned from those who are different than you, even if that's not something that she necessarily seeks, but it is always refreshing to have a different perspective, even if that perspective doesn't align with what you believe. So she would be a very social person, someone who, communicates with different people, shares knowledge, teaches, all of these things would be, part of her daily routine. Maybe she would sit down with her coven and teach them a new spell, or maybe she would just be at one-on-one with the priestess in training, teaching her the strict, routine that she knows, to pass that along so it's not lost. And so, she can share what she knows now with whoever's going to take her place. So I think there would be a lot of that, and not just, she's not one to just focus on herself. Right, it would be an experience that she shares with others. As much as, yes, she can be very harsh, and this is the way it is, and if you are going to be like me, you have to do these things. things. Maybe not this exact way, but these things are important, and you're not going to be able to skip out on your practice. You're not going to be able to be lazy. This is you're going to have to follow this routine. And she's going to be strict, but she is also teaching, and sometimes teaching involves a strict regimen.
Right. Yes. And I concur. The High Priestess, she in her daily life, she is a teacher, so she could manifest like this can be someone who's a teacher, but and this is just me, not a teacher of kids. She would be teaching older adults, like maybe college, or she would be because she has no patience. She really has no patience for children, just because that's not where she goes. She travels with people who already have thought and already have they're older, and she takes their education to a whole different level. She guides them in ways that are gonna expand their minds, and not from a child standpoint. That's someone else entirely. She can manifest in a counselor, like in a rehab center. She is at the core. She's guiding people. She's at that core. She is managing the energy. She is there to really help balance the different personalities, the different addictions, the different everything. She's that core, that fundamental experience, that individual that helps to really make the energy flow. And so she could be, she's great with group work. You're going to find the High Priestess at the center of a lot of people, a lot of individuals, very social in the sense where she's guiding someone. And she can be into politics too, where she's running a movement, she's running a cause because she believes in it. And that cause is usually going to have influence with nature, or influence with something that's environmentally sound. She's there, and spiritually sound. So because she cares about the environment, because she understands the spiritual link between, the earth, nature, and the physical, she's there. She's guiding that. She's trying to, create something where we're going to respect more. We're going to have that experience, and we're going to have that understanding that we need to take care of this. So again, where the High Priestess manifests, there's going to be a group of people that I don't want to say are following, but they are there to learn. They are there to be a part of her circle. They're there to help uplift her. But there's also,
she inspires.
Yes, she inspires. She uplifts. She her energy comes in, and it's very stable. It's very direct. And it knows what it wants, and she knows what she wants to do, and so she casts, in a sense. She casts upon these people, and whatever she is representing, there's something about the people around her that they need that, and so they come closer to form a circle around her, and they're all benefiting from her energy, but she's also benefiting from them, because what she has to offer, she's able to pass on to other people, and then they grow, and then they do the same thing. They might not be the High Priestess, but they will still be able to share a message, and that's kind of what she's about, is sharing that message. She has a lot of psychic essence, so she's there to teach. She's there to really create and have a creative outlet to inspire something new, inspire change, but from a very old source, and from a very organized source. And it's important to realize that's how she manifests in her daily life. She is a teacher. She likes to observe. So sometimes she'll be very quiet, and she'll watch, and she'll observe. But in the end, she will stand up, and she will show how things are done. She will express. She'll be of service. She is a part of a group experience.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, group fitness instructors, people who, she could be teaching Zumba. She could be teaching Turbo Fire, Insanity. She could be at the, because she is all about the spiritual application of keeping the body in good shape and in good health. So she could be a fitness instructor, or he, what I mean. So the high priestess can manifest as a physical, therapist, helping a group of people, or a trainer, a fitness trainer that focuses on group training.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or a life coach. A life coach that comes in and helps people, or one of those organizers, that will come in and like organize your home and help you learn how to balance work, home life, and spiritual. You know what I mean? I could see her definitely doing something like that, like coming into a corporation and like, look, I'm going to teach you all how to run this corporation in the most streamlined manner.
Right, and that actually reminds me. I have a book over there, but Laura Day, she wrote a book called "How to Rule the World from Your Couch" or something like that. But she talks about she would go into these businesses and these corporations, and she would teach them how to. Well, I don't know if she would teach them how, but she would be there to help them with their business as a psychic, as someone who is doing that work, but helping them grow by her service. So that's also, like you said, that just reminded me of that. Like you could be a part of like an organization like that, or be hired by an organization to utilize your talents, your psychic skills, your knowledge, your education, to be of service to help people grow.
Churches will do that, if they're not connecting with their congregation, they will hire someone, to come in and help them, connect and run smoother and have a true community where, before there was a distance and a lack of connection. And people like that, they might not say that they're necessarily psychic, but they do, acknowledge the fact that they are in tune, with their intuition and with whatever spiritual force they believe guides them. And that is a very high priestessy occupation.
And, depending on, what she's doing in her afternoon and her errands and stuff, she will fuel herself by, I would say like a healthy meal, like, fruits, veggies. She might have, cheese and crackers, something that is going to, can't talk, y'all, something that is going to fuel her for her next routine. And she doesn't eat a lot, in a sense, to weigh her down, because she gauges it depending on what she's going to need for the next few hours. So she could eat a lot, but it just depends. Mostly she's going to eat something that's going to feed her spirit, which is why you can't really say, direct things that are going to, be associated with her, because it just depends on the high priestess. It depends on the individual, but the mentality is, what am I going to eat to fuel me for my next application, my next course, my next few hours.
Right. She's definitely a bring her own lunch to work kind of person, because she already knows. She's already intuited. She is very high, psychic, as we've said. So she knows what she's going to need for lunch. She's not going to, be one of those, well, I'm going to go, hit a fast food drive-through. She is one of those that brings her lunch with her, and people that are around her kind of are mystified at how, she is so well prepared for her day. Like, I had a feeling we're going to be working late tonight, so not only did I bring my lunch, but I also brought a few protein bars for later, extra water, because I just had this feeling it's going to be a long day. She's definitely one of those.
Right. Yeah, and she's super. She, again, y'all, she can manifest as someone who's very callous, disconnected, or detached a little bit, and bitchy. Just because she has a mission, she's going to see it through. And a lot of times the high priestess is someone who is always thinking, and sometimes they're channeling, so they have energies that are processing through them, and they kind of checked out. So when you're talking to them and it seems like they're not paying attention, it's not that they're not paying attention, but they're doing like 100 different things at once. And it's not that they're not wanting to give you their focus, but they're focused on like a bigger event. And they're listening, they're paying attention, but they're filing it away a little as they are processing other things.
Right, because they're 10 steps ahead of where everyone else is at. That's the way she thinks. She's driven, you know, and she's experienced, and she's relying on a mixture of her experience plus her intuition and psychic abilities. So while everyone's wondering how to get through the next few hours, she's already thinking a few weeks ahead, because she already knows how the next few hours are going to go. She already has that plan, and she's processing what's going to happen and what they're going to need 2 weeks from now, what they need to do today to be prepared for what's going to happen to, you know, next week or tomorrow. So as much as people are like, well, she's kind of standoffish, and they don't really have this good grasp of her personality, they feel like, you know, well, she gets things done. I just may not ever go out and have drinks with her, because I don't feel like she's the type of woman who would enjoy a drink, which they would be wrong. But that's just, because in the workplace, she's so driven. This is work. This is a social hour. This isn't time to make friends. This is time to get what we need done.
Exactly. Okay, so let's say as the High Priestess winds down, she's getting off work, she's getting off school, she's going home. How does she wind down? Does she have anything specific for dinner? How does she get ready for bed? Let's talk about, you know, the sleep process as she gets into bed, and all of that. The dreams, maybe anything before bed that she does. Let's talk about the whole ending of the evening process of the High Priestess. And before we get into that, y'all, if you have any questions about the High Priestess, this is a long one, feel free to comment on the YouTube channel, the link that you're at. There's a little chat there, or even on the video, comment on the video. That way it stays there. And we will answer any questions that you might have about the High Priestess. So let's talk about the High Priestess as she processes through the evening.
We know the High Priestess would be very, she would have her friends. She would have her social group that would be very distinct from her. So, God, I keep hearing myself echo. Like, I know how you feel. Like, I'm distracted. Oh, there, that's better. But anyway, so it's not hard to distract me these days, y'all. So she has her social group. You know, she has her friends, and they are very much healthy for her spirituality. You know, they are people that she knows are uplifting, are like-minded, are supportive. You know, she's a very conscientious person. So the people that she surrounds herself with outside of work are going to be true, loyal friends that have been highly vetted, because that is the woman that she is. So whenever she gets home, she may go out with friends. You know, she may decide to just have a small dinner party, you know, a couple of friends at her home, because she's very particular about food, and for her that's very ritualistic. So it would be more personal, more spiritual to have a couple of friends at home, where they can share in making the meal, they can share in you know, connecting with what they're preparing and truly enjoying. You know, I see this as a time where she actually gets to savor the food. She gets to, you know, truly enjoy that time with her friends, with the food, and whatever they need, you know, she feels she needs to sort of supplement all the stuff she's gone throughout the day. You know, it's like, okay, I had a really hard day in this way, so tonight I'm going to make up for it by indulging in this, whatever that may be, to counteract those harsh, you know, energies that she dealt with during the day. So I feel like she would be, you know, whether she's with friends or by herself, her evening meal is going to be very personable, very, you know, luxurious, very, very fulfilling in a very, you know, emotional and spiritual way to make up for the day that she's gone through, so she can truly be at rest when she decides to rest. You know, and after the meal, she may relax in a bath, you know, and it would be everything that her body needs to recuperate from the day. You know, it might be a salt bath if she was, you know, had a very strenuous day and has a lot of tight muscles and anxiety. She would, you know, have a bath that's going to relax her body and relax herself. Or if it hasn't been that stressful a day, she might just have an energetic shower because she's feeling lethargic and she wants to uplift her spirits while still being able to get good sleep at night. You know, it would be a very conscientious decision on how she cleanses herself of the day. But I do believe that would be a staple. She would always cleanse off the day's routine before going to bed. You know, before getting ready to receive the dream she's going to receive. She would definitely be a dream journal keeper. You know, she would be very conscientious in the signs that she receives while sleeping and writing it all down. And so she would prepare herself for that. You know, she would meditate, do whatever routine that she does to prepare herself to pay attention to her dreams. She may even be a lucid dreamer, you know, and decide on certain nights that's what she needs to do and prepare herself in that way. So I feel like her sleeping all the way up to her you know, restful period, she is going to be it's all going to be a very spiritual, I know I need to do this because this is what's going to rejuvenate me and make me the best person I could be in the morning type of routine.
I like that. I do. I agree. I agree a lot. And you're right. Like when she comes home, and that's the very interesting thing about the High Priestess. And you can just tell by looking at this card here. There's very distinct energies. You know, mm-hmm. you have very distinct expressions of energy. And so down here it flows like very emotional, and there's that psychic connection with, you know, the blue, the emotion, the water up here, the moon, and then the backdrop that she can't see what's behind her, but she can see because she doesn't need it to be open to see. Right. And so you have that, and as she prepares for her evening, she keeps her work at work. And then she comes home. But see, the interesting thing about the High Priestess is that she's always working in one way or another. But when she comes home, you know, she will pour another glass of wine if she's already had a few. But she will have her wine. She will have, again, she might have a juice. She might juice, you know, at night and have that and just treat her body well. You know, she will probably have, you know, maybe something like pasta or lasagna, you know, tortellini, something like that, very rich, just to enjoy the experience, to really enjoy the preparation and enjoy the luxury and the experience of creating a meal that is going to be a little more rich than her, you know, her day, but something that's going to help fuel her, be a little heavier so she can kind of like prepare for what she's going to do that night. Because a lot of the time, the High Priestess manifests. The High Priestess tends to do a lot of work at night, you know, with the moon, with lunar energy. She's working at night, so she tends to come alive at night. And so she kind of needs that heavy food or that heavy experience towards the end of the day. So it will help balance all the work she's supposed to do, because she has a lot to do and she comes alive at night, but she also realizes that she has to sleep So the heaviness of the food will help give her that energy to process everything she needs to do, and then she will also be able to fall asleep at the end of it. And so she will do that, and she does. I feel like she'll kick back, she'll read a book, and the book's not, well, ever so often she will read like a trashy novel or something, but more so than not, her material is going to be very organized, very ritualistic, very spiritual, something that's gonna, benefit her and others. She might be learning a new technique for a circle she's teaching, or she might be practicing her divination. She might be throwing, casting some runes or whatever. She will be doing something of that sort, and so that's very. It's very important to understand that is the way of the High Priestess. She'll come home and she's always working, but she's growing and she's taking care of herself at the same time. So she will divine and she will work in her grimoire, her book of shadows, or whatever she calls it. And she'll take time to reflect. She'll take time to really maybe do some astrological research. She might have the astrological calendar right here, which was suggested to me by Nadia, which I'm grateful for because it's pretty awesome. Check that out. But yeah, she'll look through this. She'll plan her day. She'll see like the different moon phases. She'll see what's aspecting what's in conjunct with what, and all this all this other stuff. She will have this and she will really work it, and she'll take time because that helps her process information, because a lot of information is going through the High Priestess, so she needs to release it. She might be a very sexual person, so she's like the librarian type where you look at them and you're like, oh, she ain't getting any action at all, but when she get home, she's freaky as fuck. Like, she will get her freak on. Thank you, Missy Elliott, for that song. She will be crazy and very adventurous in that way because she understands what a sacred whore actually is. And she embraces that about her. And so, she will release that way as well. So it's important to really take into consideration the process of the High Priestess. As she winds down, she will go from, planning to maybe reading lighter material, maybe reading like a fiction book, American Gods, like I have down there. She will go to something that's still stimulating the mind, but also a little fun. She might watch TV, she might watch TV, a movie or something, some popcorn, and as she, winds down, and she will definitely have a dream journal. So she will prepare. And this whole, as she winds down, the whole process of that, she's kind of like in this psychic trance-like state where she's receiving information, but she's also allowing energy to flow through her and out, because she's a conduit. And so it's a very healing experience. So that's kind of like how she winds down. She prepares for bed. It's very routine, she gets, all her shit done, taken care of, but very organized. She has a routine. She sticks with it.
Yes. I agree. I concur.
I concur. Thank you so kindly. All right, y'all. So that is, in a nutshell, a day in the life with the High Priestess. We would love to hear what you have to say. So if you have anything to share on the High Priestess, if you would like to do a video, actually, a video response would be awesome. Title it "A Day in the Life of the High Priestess" and share that with us, because that'd be fun. Because this is our perception, and this is like a very specific way of expressing her. She can go and so much more. It could take hours to discuss her, but we're not going to do that. But yeah, we would love to hear what you have to say, whether you want to comment on the video or create your own and share it with us. But definitely do something like that, because we love learning more.
Yes, we do. And we would love to hear from you. We enjoy discussion. So discuss, people.
Absolutely, y'all. And again, y'all, on Saturday we didn't have a show, but we pre-recorded, and that was called Forging a Daily Practice with the Deviants. That is something you should check out because it helps you to really create a daily practice, and which can be very beneficial when you're working with the tarot cards. Check that out. It helps a lot, and we explain why it is important to have a daily practice. But yes, if you have any questions for us, again, utilize the comment section in the YouTube video. If you have anything that you'd like us to address, any future videos that you'd like us to see us do, let us know. But until then, I can't talk. Until next time, y'all, we will see you later.
Bye.